Ready, center.
November 2nd at Michigan. Coach will open it up with a opening statement about being here and the season ahead, and then we'll take some questions.
How's everybody doing? It's great to be back at Media Days in person again. So, this time of the year, everybody's, ramping up and getting excited. Preseason or summer workouts are done, and everybody's ready for preseason camp. And, everybody's, writing their stories and making their projections and predictions and talking about the opener. And it's just an exciting time of the year. So it's great to be back together and representing East Carolina University. And it's an exciting time for the American Conference with our 6 new members coming in. It's going to create some new matchups, some new rivalries, and I know all the coaches in the league are excited about that. But here as we start, for me and our staff, year 5 at East Carolina, just really pleased with where the program is right now. Excited about this group this fall. Excited about the dedication and commitment that they've shown during the off season. I know there's a lot of documentation about who is, in the NFL and who we lost last year, and that I've heard a lot of that this summer. But I'm really excited about who we have returning. A lot of players have been waiting their time. A lot of players have been doing it out there, and now they're thrust into a bigger role. So, but as we stand here today, I'm as excited about the program and this season as I ever have been any. And so be ready to get started. We open up with report date next Tuesday. First practice will be next Wednesday. And then obviously, have a pretty challenging opener September 2nd up in Ann Arbor against what is going to be one of the top, 1 or 2 teams in the country this year, preseason-wise. So big matchup to start us off with. Come back home with a challenging home opener against a very good Marshall Thundering Herd team coming off a 9-win season. And then a trip up to Boone to play in-state rival Appalachian State. So, pretty challenging start to the season, but also very excited about that because, we're going to find out a lot about ourselves. That's what I've been, talking to the players about. Just find out really who we are early in the season. So, just can't wait to get started. Questions?
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. Right there up in the front.
Hi, Coach. Zach Barnett with Football Scoop. A lot of talk about everything that's going wrong in college football right now. In your opinion, what's going right in this sport, and maybe what's something that's gotten better over the last 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, I think still the thing that's going right is, those 2 young men that you guys are going to have a chance to talk to in the other room, Shane Calhoun and Jeremy Lewis. They've been in our program for 3 and 4 years respectively, and they've grown tremendously. I'm just proud of the young men that they are, and so still to this day, the greatest thing about college football to me is just the development of the young men in our program, and just really pleased with not only those 2, but all the guys back in Greenville also. And it's the reason I love my job, and it's why I don't consider it a job. Is I get a chance every day to go spend my day with them, and I'm better for it, and hopefully we're making their lives better for it. So that's probably to me still the biggest positive of college football.
That's all right. Mitch Lucas, I'm from the footballbeat.com and from the Kilgore News Herald paper. Thank you for coming out to Media Days, and thank you for bringing the guys with us. I know everybody has, I don't want to ask you to tip your hand, but if you could maybe talk about a couple of personnel that we don't have here, just somebody that is going to have an impact on your season, and you don't have to cut it to one player. Maybe just mention a couple of names that that and you can go special teams too. Just anybody that you think is going to have somebody that we know that that's going to have an impact on your season.
Well, I think you got to start with our running back room. Rajay Harris was first team all conference in 2020. He did have a pretty tough injury last year, but he's fully recovered. Had a great off season. He and Marlon Gunn are two very experienced backs returning that have, Marlon played a lot for us last year after Rajay went down. So, those two guys are pretty proven commodities in this league. And so I expect those two to have, very solid years for us. Jalen Johnson had a solid year for us last year in spite of missing some time. He did battle some injuries around midseason and still put up really solid numbers. He's healthy and has worked very hard this offseason, so expect him to have a very productive year this year. Same thing for Josiah Hatfield, who has had some of the biggest moments in Pirate history. I mean, he's had the touchdown against South Carolina in 21 to start the game. He's had so many plays like that. Had a huge game down at SMU in 19. So a very experienced, explosive guy right there. On the defensive side of the ball, Julius Wood, I don't know how he didn't make all-conference last year. I think he's one of the best safeties in the league. He's had a great offseason. Just really excited about he and Teagan returning there at the safety position. And in our defensive front, we return virtually everybody up front, and it's a solid bunch. They've all been playing for 3 years. I talk about them as a group because that's kind of how we view them, and they're all just solid core players. But I'm excited about a lot more than just those guys, but those are a few that have already proven themselves in this league.
Coach Jordan Hoffett, it's 24/7 Sports. You mentioned some guys you don't have. When you're replacing a quarterback that has been in the program as long as he was and all of that, what goes into that next guy and developing that next guy and getting him ready before this year and then also obviously getting him ready for this year?
Well, the positive thing is Mason and Alex have both been there in the same room with Holton his entire time. Mason did start a game in 2020 when Holton was out with COVID. So those guys have been there, been at practice, been getting the reps, been getting the same looks and things like that. The thing you can't replace is the game experience, and obviously both those guys are inexperienced when it comes to college snaps, but they have worked very hard this offseason to prepare. They're both playing as well as they ever have, and I've talked a lot about Mason. I mean, Mason's ability and the ceiling for him is pretty high, and we're all excited to see him this year and see what he does with that. We're excited about the pieces around him. I think that's a big factor for him, is just the comfort with the players around him. But it's going to take those same things that Holton went through my first couple of years. Mason's got to go through those things from a decision-making process. Now, he's probably more prepared for the beginning than Holton was, in that he has been there with Holton through his last 3 years. But still, there's no replacing experience.
Any other questions for Coach? Appreciate it, Coach.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great day.